Welcome back to PSA TV. This is Eye on Labor. I have on the line with me right now, she is the chairperson of the Seamstresses and Tailors department, Miss Susan Alexander. Good morning to you, Miss Alexander.
Hi, good morning, Christy, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
How are you this morning?
Well, I'm not so well, but I always try to struggle and do what I need to do.
Yeah, and of course we have the big event coming up later this month.
Oh, yes,
All right.
Halloween the experience.
All right, so let's just take a look at our latest video promo for the event, and we'll chat with Miss Alexander when we come back.
Thank you.
Yo, we're gonna be at Halloween the Experience, PSA Rooftop. We'll come this street first day, October 31st, 2019, 8 p.m. till. Come out and have a trail experience, your boy ICKB, Kid, and the money.
Sauce it up,
Pull up in the ghost or
poltergeist. I'm cold as ice, dripping like a broken pipe.
Halloween the Experience. Be sure to get your tickets out now. I have on the line Miss Alexander, who's going to just, tell us a bit about how preparations are coming along for the event itself.
Well, it's coming along a bit slow. Everyone is saying that they would come, and we have some tickets that are out already. And, as everybody, the economy has taken a toll on them. So, we're pushing off the tickets. We're hoping everything would run as planned and, to make it successful, not only for me, but for other persons who would, need certain things to happen.
Yeah. And I see here you have, I don't know if you can just briefly give us the cast for the show?
Yeah, well, we have Inna Phantom, we have Niall George, we have, and we will promise as a surprise, we may be having Iowa George. Kes was saying he's on hold in the sense of how his night would run. He may come in as well. So we have persons who now pledging to come in, and we're hoping that they will hold to their pledges and come in and make the night a memorable one.
And I'm seeing here that you have a prize for the best male and female costume.
Costume, yes. We're having for the best dressed person, female and male, to be getting a prize, and we're looking forward to those persons who would be taking part in the Thriller Dancer competition as well.
All right, and where can we get tickets for this event?
Well, the tickets could be had when you call the numbers on the flyer there with Sonia Guevara and Susan Alexander. Mm-hmm. My number is 764-5511.
All right, so be sure to head on down. Actually, the event is being held right here at PSA Rooftop.
Yeah.
So make sure you get your tickets.
I'll be leaving some tickets this week at the PSA head office as well.
Yes, so just come out, support. Tickets are priced at, it's just $100 or
$180.
$180. So it's very, very reasonable, $180. What do you get with your package? Or do you get?
Well, you get your mask and your cape, and the 150 tickets those are gone already. You're getting something a snack and a drink as well. So the 150 you get something like a snack and a drink, and with the 180 you're getting your cape and your mask.
So that's the Halloween the Experience being held right here on our rooftop on October 31st.
Yes, to help.
And the purpose of this event is, of course, Susan, like you were telling me, it's to assist in your department.
Say hello, say again. I kind of lost you there.
What is the purpose of this event?
To help offset some of my medical expenses as well, because I've gotten a snowball of expenses to treat with since the last time we would have had the interview.
Yes.
And the director of the NGO, the upcoming NGO, she would have then suggested that we need to help each other in order to go forward to help other persons. So this fundraiser would be geared towards helping pay medical expenses and try to get um, some payments towards surgery being done privately.
Oh, wow. So, this is a general appeal to everybody who is viewing us this morning. Make sure you get your tickets. The 150 tickets are already sold out, so it's just the 180 ones that are remaining. Halloween, the experience. Onto a more serious tone, Miss Alexander. You would have, of course, seen the budget this year. What are your thoughts on it?
The budget in itself, they say it's for many persons on the ground, it seems to be sometimes the pie in the sky. You're seeing it up there, but it seems to be unreachable. In the sense that, okay, we're hoping that it would trickle down, but in real time, like me, I was hoping that the budget would now treat with the issues of persons, and we're looking at the senior citizens, the homes, the children, the persons for employment, because while we are now creating a skyscraper, the persons on the ground themselves, their dwelling seems to be diminishing before them. And we are looking at the homes for the children. I think you as well had recently on your program with what is happening there. We are hearing some of the old age, the senior citizens home, and those are the things people with a sense of sensitivity would look at, because it would not take billions of dollars to have these category of persons stabilized. And we are saying stabilized. In order to go forward, you need to be stabilized and then to go forward.
Yeah.
And that is one of my concerns. So while we were having, as somebody said, it's a good budget in a lot of the aspect, it's the persons who want to be a part of that benefit, they are now starting to fade exactly at where they are. There's nothing to take them forward for sustainability. Our food. The next thing is our farmers. We are looking at the farmers. And a man who cannot feed himself, really, it doesn't, he wouldn't be the essence of a man. We are looking, and these are the persons on the ground, that we're looking for good food. Food that once you take off the subsidy of chemicals and whatever, have our farmers grow food that at the end of the day, the health would always add for part of your wealth. So we're looking for the farmers to be taken care of. We're looking for the children at the homes to be taken care of. We're looking at your vulnerable, your physically challenged, and so forth to be taken care of. Now, these are things that we'll give something, and it's very trivial in the sense of, okay, we'll give something and it will be trickled out in 2020. We have from now till Christmas to wait for certain things to be trickled out. And therefore, there you see the lack of sensitivity when budgets like this is passed. Yeah.
And even when you look at the increase in minimum wage from $15 to $17.50, what could that really do for anybody living in this day and age?
Well, exactly. And not only what could that do, but what I was saying, if you have the minimum wage increase even to $20, and you're not putting some kind of infrastructure in as governance, that, listen to me, I put it for $20 now, and I'm putting much higher than what they're having it.
Yeah.
But we would now have, because we cannot put a cap on food prices. So now things that you would have bought for $3 has now gone to $7. So we have to have some kind of regulatory structure in order to not only just to raise the wage, the minimum wage, and they call it the minimum wage, not the maximum wage, but to keep an order. That, listen to me, we have, again, we'll always go and treat with the issue of food, the consumption, thing that is basic. So I often, in growing up in the country, you would see persons, they may not have a big elaborate house, but their table were always well taken care of.
Of
the
course.
food, then you look, you see your hygiene, you're being clean, your place clean and so forth. And the family go from being like, whether it's a civil servant, to a businessman, to a corporate person, because at the end of the day, if you cannot take care of a person's well-being when you're talking about food and health. Everything else just cascades down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying just now about, when like in past years where you have people have their own private kitchen gardens or even larger gardens. But I think in this day and age, I think it's a little harder to do when you consider, let's take a family from South, for instance, where the mother might be working in Port of Spain, the father is probably the same thing. But the time spent on the road in traffic alone.
Exactly. And I'm saying how the powers that be, these learned persons doesn't understand, well, okay, you keep on trying to build the skyscraper and putting the pie in the sky, but your foundation seem to always be quivering, be
Yeah.
shaking.
There's an
So
imbalance.
while there's a gross imbalance, you see, and I am saying it's not that they don't know, but in my mind and in my time, I'm feeling that they don't want to know.
Yeah.
And those of us who may need to say, well, okay, I am supporting no matter what, there are many citizens are not supporting just because they would have grown up in a party, or they say, well, okay, there's nothing else that we know. There are a lot of persons, especially in the young community, that are saying that what you're giving us there is not at something in its totality.
Yeah.
And we need faith to see from the foundation, because building the highways, building all these things is fine, but maintain your senior citizens, maintain the persons who, not for their own responsibility, fathers or mothers have been incarcerated. Those are the lost generation, because it would affect us. You see?
And even the public servants.
Yeah.
I think many public servants were looking out to see if they were, probably getting some settlement when it comes down to their wage negotiations, but nothing was announced.
No, nothing was announced. And again, you see, when you're fighting, you're having a struggle. You see, again, I often go back to the olden days. My mom and grandmom often say, if you don't know your worth, you'll be treated accordingly. And I think in the instance and in circumstances where public servants, the working conditions is horrible, you're almost placed, and I would put myself in as an example, that your productivity is almost at a maximum, because you have to compete with your safety as well as what you may get.
Yeah.
And now you're having persons say, well, we don't have X or Y. Analyze what is being said to you. How come you don't have it? And if you were, and I'm now doing this, Christy, putting some things in the costing for like my department, like we're talking about the handrails and so forth, and I am sure before the middle of next year, I will be able to provide all the things that would be needed in my department for it to function. And if I can do that, and I'm putting this as a challenge towards the government, if I can do that as an individual, 15 budget would have passed me within an employment institution, and you can't provide that. That is mismanagement at the highest.
Yeah.
It is mismanagement at the highest.
And yet, budget come, budget go, and we don't really see anything being done to change that.
Yeah, but again, the persons who need to stand up and stand out and say, well, enough is enough, haven't said so yet. So the game will continue. The games will continue.
And when we look at the health sector, we haven't really seen anything announced, anything implemented. When as somebody as yourself, you suffer. Well, you're
continues to suffer. Continues to suffer. Yeah.
And I mean, now you have to have a fundraiser in order to get funds to go through your surgery. How do you feel?
Well, this is something I am trying, because again, I have been crying out to the powers that be for the longest while, and they are now, you need to go through the system. The system is very convoluted, and therefore what happens, and I have seen it happen to many of the persons going through the same system with me, what it does, it destroys you before you reach to the natural process of the system. So once you're not being taken in consideration with the head being the Minister of Health, and they send you, okay, you need to go through this convoluted system. It would now take you to a place that you don't want to be. So your next option is to try to help yourself through either fundraiser and so forth, which is sad. Which is sad because this is not the road that I alone would go down. It's the road that many are going down. You see? And we put our heads in the sand and say, well, something would be done with the next government, or maybe they will get their act together in a time. I have found that I have some great doctors. I found that I have some not so great doctors, but at the end of the day, the unenviable task is for the Minister of Health to treat with the health system in a way that transparency would now reflect, and the health of the persons that would now come out and need proper service would be given that. You see, because one of the favorite words by the Minister of Health, Minister Terence Yalsing, is non-communicable diseases. You see, but I have learned when you go in, and I've done that for over 3 times for this week, going into the hospital at 6 and you leave at 2 to say, well, okay, here what happened. You have to come back for next month. What would happen? You'll get your blood pressure going up. You'll get your sugar level going up. And he must be aware of this kind of system that turns you, twists you, and churns you. And then it puts you into a different level of ill health. And so 2 things you'll have to do: stay and die, or step out and try to help yourself and somebody else. And that is what we are doing with the event that we are having there. And, try to make something out of this mess we call the health system.
Yeah. And ironic that you'll say that, because, when you talk to people on the ground, some people just don't want to go to the health hospitals because they come out worse than they actually go in.
That is a fact. That is a fact, Christy. It is a fact. I am seeing, and I saw a lady just recently. She said, "Oh gosh, I came in because I getting on some arthritic pain. And when I leave, I have a headache. I was feeling faint. I paid the driver $200." And you're hearing people who has put forth to a society, who had contributed, is now asking for things that they are not acute in their illness, but will become acute once they're in the health system. And I'm calling again on the health minister. He have known me, and I came in front of his door in 2016, and it's the same problem that I'm dealing now in 2019, 2020. You see? So again, the issue is there, the evidence is there, but you don't have the compassion of the leaders, and that is the problem of the citizens.
Yeah, I think that is something that has been lacking for a long time. Compassion.
Yeah. Because you see, and if you even think about country and you talk about patriotism, it's one of the words that pops up quite often. If you save head of households in a family, you save a family, because a mother and a father carries 2 children, as again, and I think I would have alluded to that in one of our interviews. You carry a family. When a head is taken down in a family, that support starts to crumble. You see? So you're talking about ill health, and nothing takes money more than an ill health individual. You see? So I am trying to go into the minds of those that ought to be capable of analyzing issues and have things put in place to keep citizens being productive in our country. And because it's mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling, and I am not going to fight what I understand doesn't want to be fixed. And understand what I've just said.
Yes.
I am not going to fight what doesn't want to be fixed, because clearly, with evidence, things in the health sector doesn't want to be fixed.
Was there anything in particular you were looking forward to in this budget?
Well, in this budget, I was hoping that because especially public servants, when they get money, they spend money here,
Of course.
It's only recently you're getting to realize that when you're buying things online, because some, and again, we would always have unscrupulous businessmen that would want to hike a price really high. But once people get money here, they spend money here, so the economy is starting to churn again.
Yeah.
But now a lot of persons now, you dress with your little high heel, you put your lipstick on and you come, and you sometimes you didn't even know if you'll get gas to carry you back home. You see? Again, our families, like the ones that we often in the extended family, we take care of our mothers, our grandmothers. You are hearing talk that the family members seem to be becoming a burden because there is nothing with the health sector. The monies that would be able to say, well, okay, let me turn to just have a good meal. The meals, you're not getting the meals to purchase as you want to. You see, the kitchen garden, your timeline to do it according to you, Christy. When you're stuck in traffic from 5 and you're going back home and you're reaching 7.
Yeah.
You see, there is the home garden, you can't do that. So I'm asking the powers that be again, could we not structure the transit to have a way that, okay, you wouldn't have these little children sleeping with their heads all over the cars if those who fortunate to have mommy and daddy take them to work or in transport the buses. It is a more, you're looking at it, it's more and more becoming inhumane in the way we're doing things for development.
And
You see?
in your opinion, what is one thing you think that can benefit you coming out of this budget?
Right?
Oh, if there is anything.
There isn't, you see, again, everything's sounding so nice, but it's, for me, I think it's quite unreachable because they're often money's put and then after you say, well, okay, this was put aside for X, but we didn't use that. And so it's almost like it's always a trick and you're hoping to see it unfold and then it raffles and hope that you catch something. You're up with a fan in the sky and you're hoping to catch some water. You see?
Wow.
So it may sound pretty when you're getting this and the bulb. But I think what I will get in this whole budget is the bulbs for the house. Because then we have in the LED lights. You see?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you and me both. We're gonna get some light bulbs.
Yeah, but we laughing. But while the grass is getting green, the horses are starving.
That is very, very, very
While
true.
the grass is getting green, the horses are starving, and again, only those who feel it knows it. And most we can do is try to ban around each other and know that things must get better and we must insist our leaders at least maintain the basic in order for we to get the more complex and the more, advanced, but maintain your basic.
Yeah. And in case you're now joining us here on PSA TV, we have been chatting with the chairperson of the Seamstress and Tailors Department, PSA section head, that is Miss Susan Alexander. Coming up later this month on the 31st, we have Halloween the Experience, and it's a fundraiser event, of course, geared towards assisting her with her surgery. It's the most we can do. Just be your sister's keeper, be your brother's keeper, and this event is no different. We have a star-studded cast. We have the Inner Sanctum members. We may have some guest artists coming through as well. So, Suzanne, I just want to thank you so much for joining us here on PSA TV. But before we go, can I get your closing comments?
I like to say again, I want to thank you, Christy, for actually being the voice, in most of the cases, the voiceless, and avenues such as this. I want to applaud it, and not only that, and the day is coming that when we become more self-sufficient, not only applaud it, but support it. And I want to thank you, thank the PSA for having such a venture. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
So that was the chairperson of the Seamstress and Tailors Department, PSA section, Ms. Susan Alexander, just chatting a bit there about the event that is to take place later on this month, Halloween the Experience. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. And before we go, let me say special happy birthday going out to our dear co-worker, Mr. Jamal Clark. He celebrates his birthday today. A very avid part he plays in. You may not see him in front of the camera necessarily, but behind the scenes, he is the guy responsible for all our graphics. So let's say happy birthday to him. And that's where I wrap things up for today. On behalf of myself and all of us here at PSA TV, here's wishing you a safe and blessed day.